Hi, it's Tom from Lone Horizons, and welcome back to our playthrough of Dyson's Delve in Dungeon Crawl Classics Solo. It's been ages since the last time I played this because I got really ill with a bad cold and cough just after I finished shooting the last episode, so then I didn't get to edit that one and upload it until I was better. I also started this episode the other day and I wasn't fully recovered yet, and so I got a bit into it and then just scrapped it and thought I'll just start again. Nothing major happened in terms of characters dying or anything like that, so I'm just going back to the start of the episode and doing it again. Before we get started, there are two things that I wanted to point out. An eagle-eyed viewer called Renato Tuxo the other day noticed that in the episode where I was leveling up Waltin, the warrior, this is him, we rolled 4 for his hit points, and that's what I put down as his hit points, but he actually has a -1 stamina modifier, so that means we need to -1 from what he rolled. So unfortunately he's even weaker, so he has 3 hit points, which is the same as what Grobern the wizard has. So our warrior with a 2-handed sword is going to be a bit of a glass cannon. I mean, he was before we realised the mistake, but so there's that. So thanks, Renato Tuxo. And the other thing I noticed while I was just kind of going through their character sheets was, I don't know why I did this, but when I was filling in their armour class, for every single character in all those separate 4 episodes, I forgot that the base unarmoured armour class in Dungeon Crawl Classics is 10, and I was treating it as 0 for some reason. I don't know why, because I don't think there's any other RPG that I've played where that's the case. Any kind of D20 based RPG or OSR RPG. So I just went through all of them and changed their armor classes to what they should be. That's a bit embarrassing. I don't know why that happened, but it seems like none of you noticed anyway, or no one bothered to comment on it anyway. So with those 2 bits of news out of the way, we can get back to the game. And the first thing we need to do, we're going to do a bit of dungeon crawling today, back in level 1 of Dyson's Delve. But before we do that, we have a spell to cast. Grobern, the wizard, needs to cast his Find Familiar spell so that he can bring a familiar with him into the dungeon. So Find Familiar is a level 1 spell that he got when he leveled up. So I'm gonna find it here. So Find Familiar. Duration is lifetime, but casting time is a week. So the others are gonna have to, just hang out in the village for a week, wait around while he does this. I do have some plans for downtime activities that we can do in between going into the dungeon, but I'm not gonna get into them in this episode because I think it would take up the whole episode if I do that, and I do want to get back into the dungeon. So this says, this lengthy ritual prepares the caster to bond with a familiar. The familiar makes itself known during the ceremony 50% of the time. Otherwise, the caster makes its acquaintance sometime in the weeks following the ritual. So that's interesting. That could happen. We may have to wait until we meet the familiar, when we might find it in the dungeon or in the wilderness or something. The spell check is made upon completion of the ritual, so after 7 days, and a minimum spell burn of 10 points is required to cast this spell. So that means it will be another 10 days to regenerate the ability points that he burns for the spell burn before we're able to go back to the dungeon. The caster gains hit points equal to the familiars and other powers as well, depending on the creature summoned. Oh, that's good. I didn't notice that last time. I didn't pick up on it. So when he gets his familiar, he gets the familiar's hit points added to his own. That's really helpful. Once the caster has summoned a familiar, whether having met it or not, they cannot summon another until the current one dies and the full moon passes. If a familiar dies, the caster immediately keels over in intense pain loses twice the familiar's hit points permanently, which, as he's got 3 hit points, if his familiar has 6 or something, or 4, or just any really, he's going to get killed instantly. So he's got to be really careful with his familiar, not sending them into fights, I guess. And suffers a -5 spell check penalty until the next full moon. Okay. The judge will provide more information. See page 316. Well, the judge is me, so I'll have to read that in a second. But, yeah, we're going to have a look. The spell check results, most of them say per judge, apart from where you fail. Okay. What's on the next page? Oh, that's it. Oh, okay. Right, so I've got to read page 316. Summoning a familiar. Okay, generate a familiar as follows. So the higher the spell check, the more powerful the familiar and the greater effect it has on the wizard magic. Right. Okay. This is good. Alright, we'll do this. But first, we need to do the spell check. So the spell check result doesn't actually affect anything here, but it might be detailed in here. Okay, this is a whole section on finding familiars. Wow, that's great. Okay, and it even gets a role for its personality. This is really nice, actually. This is a really nice little system that they've included here. And you know, the good thing about all these RPGs is you could use this in any other game, in any other setting. Sorry, any other system. I mean, of your choice. Okay, so we will do the spell check, and he has to do 10 spell burn. So that means he gets to add a minimum of 10 spell burn. So that means he gets to add 10 points to his spell check, which is good. Let's. I just need to use something as a bookmark. All right, so here's Grobern's sheet. So his spell check is base spell check normally is 1d20 plus 2, but it's actually going to be 1d20 plus 12. Okay, that gets him a good chance of getting a good strong familiar. So 1d20 plus 12. 14 plus 12 is 26. So it's not a failure. We'll just have to remember that we rolled a 26. I'm actually going to write that number down on a bit of scrap paper. This will do, just in case, because I've got such a bad memory lately. Okay, so what do we do? Let's get this visible. Generate a familiar as follows. And maybe I should kind of get a little bit of paper to write the familiar's details down on. I'll just use another page of this failed printing of the 4 Against Darkness rulebook. Okay, determine familiar type. Guardian, focal, arcane or demonic. See table 7.4. Okay, just make sure we can all see this. So, here we go. Spell check by alignment, and then you get the familiar type. So our spell check was 26, and what is his alignment? I think it's lawful. Neutral. His alignment is neutral. Focal. He gets a focal type of familiar. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Focal familiars enable a wizard to concentrate magical energy at the familiar's location, casting a spell through the familiar. Focal familiars have these traits. In addition to communicating telepathically with the familiar, the wizard can actually see through the familiar's eyes. That's great. Okay, so it is a focal familiar. Can see through its eyes. Sorry about my really crappy handwriting. I'm really just I'll give the familiar a little character sheet of its own next episode. But for now, I'm just making really rough notes. And can communicate telepathically with the wizard. Or the wizard can communicate. telepathically with it. So we could use it as a little kind of scout. A bit like if it was a sci-fi game, it could be a drone with a little radio connection or something. The wizard can cast spells with their familiar as the point of origin rather than themselves. This ability lets the familiar deliver spells that normally require the caster to touch their target. Okay. Yeah, so familiar can be origin of spells, e.g. touch range. So the wizard can send the familiar in to the fray to touch an enemy instead of him going in on purpose, like himself. Any spell that is cast through the familiar improves the wizard's spell check result by +1. Okay. So +1 to spell check when cast through familiar. That's really good, really helpful. And then the familiar gets an attack at +1 that does 1d3 points of damage. Okay, so attack +1 attack bonus 1d3 damage. Oh, what the hell does that say? I'm not happy with that. I know what it means, but I'm gonna rub it out and do it again. Okay. What next? That's the familiar type. Oh, all familiars have these traits, 1d4 + 2 hit points. Okay, so hit points, 1d4 + 2. Here we go. Yes! Maximum 6. Armor class 14 due to small size and agility. Armor class 14. Use the wizard's saving throws. Okay, I'm not going to write that all down here, but I'll just write saving throws, Groberns. Are unusually intelligent for their species, typically around an intelligence of 5 in human terms. Okay, that's fine, I won't write that down. The wizard and familiar can communicate telepathically, though this is limited by the familiar's senses and intelligence. E.g., a toad's 6-inch height limits its ability to see onto tabletops, and it cannot read. But intelligence, if it's an animal, does that mean it can kind of speak to the wizard telepathically, or can it just be like, I'm scared or I'm hungry or something like that? That doesn't sound that great. Are we going to say it will have... I think there are animal languages in this, actually. Like, one of us learned the bear's language. I think it was Grobern, actually. Yeah, he can speak bear. So animals can talk in this to each other. The familiar is absolutely loyal. Yeah. The wizard gains bonus hit points equal to the familiar's. Yeah. So he gets 6 extra hit points, Grobern. He's going to be the toughest guy in the party, I think. So what are his hit points? So maximum is at 3. So I guess that will be maximum 9 then, instead. 9, and I'll put 6 from familiar. Okay, and I'll just update his hit points here. That's really good, because our level 1 characters are so fragile still. Okay. Yep, if the familiar has a natural ability, the wizard gains a +4 bonus when using that same ability. For example, a wizard with a cat gains a +4 bonus to attempts to sneak silently. That's great. Okay, so then it's got the list of familiar types. Step 2, okay, physical configuration. Roll 1d14 on table 7-5. Cross-referenced against the wizard's alignment to determine the physical configuration. All right. Yeah, that's fine. D14. I've got to find that. Is it this one? 14, yes. Okay, so he is neutral. Let's see what he gets. 8. A turtle! He gets a turtle familiar. That's great. +2 armor class, but movement reduced by -5 feet. So that's the effects that Grobern gets. He's getting tougher and tougher. He gets +2 armor class. Okay, that's really good. So that means his armor class is now 11. It was really bad before. But he moves -5 feet. So his movement rate, is that listed down here? His movement rate is 30. Speed, yeah, 30. So he can go 25 feet per turn instead of 30. There we go. That's great. All right. And then I think we roll for personality after that. Yeah. And that's it. Okay. So a D20 for the personality. This is really funny. 10. Garrulous. Won't shut up. I'm glad it put that in parentheses there because I didn't know that's what garrulous meant. That's really funny. Garrulous. So the turtle is going to keep talking non-stop. Okay, garrulous turtle. Now, you'll notice that I haven't mentioned this familiar's name yet, and that's because I would really like some of you to suggest names for him, and then in the next episode you'll have to do it. You know, whoever's up to date with the series, which isn't that hard to be honest, because I upload so rarely. Whoever's up to date with it and watching this video just after it comes out, you can leave a comment under this video for what you think the garrulous turtle's name should be. Remember, he's quite slow, he's tough, but he keeps talking non-stop. That's really weird. So yeah, you leave a comment under this video, tell me what you think his name should be, and I will roll a die on a table of those names. So even if there's only if there's one, that's what it will be. If there's 20, there's not going to be 20, but if there were, I'd roll the D20. And yeah, I will have no choice in the matter. I'll go by whatever the dice say. Obviously, if someone puts a racial slur or something like that, I'm not gonna go with that for obvious reasons. But yeah, I'll try and be as ruthless as possible with it, and whatever the name is, we will use. So yeah, I don't know when the next episode is going to come out, but hopefully it'll be soon. But also hopefully you will get time to do that. Okay, so the rules mentioned sometimes familiars make themselves known to the wizard straight away, and other times they make themselves known in the weeks following the ritual. And I think what we're going to say, we're going to rule as the judge that the garrulous turtle familiar will make himself known next episode. So he won't accompany us into the dungeon for this delve, but when he does, he will have his name decided. So that should be fun, I think. So let's get on with the actual dungeon crawling. They're going to go back. They've spent now 17 days in the village resting, and Grobern has, got his ability points back. It doesn't matter which ones I burned because I just got them back anyway without any gameplay in between. It's just 17 days later. We're going to go back into the dungeon. We are going to roll for random encounters, wandering monsters on each existing room that we've already explored, because my reasoning is it's 17 days later, more goblins might have come up from downstairs in the lower levels and occupied the rooms or just random wandering monsters might have moved into the dungeon, attracted by the corpses of the dead goblins they killed and wanting to eat them and stuff. So we'll do the simple D6 roll for wandering monsters each time we come into a room that we've already explored. We did say that going forward from now, each time we travel to and from the dungeon, we will do a wandering monster check in the wilderness. So I am going to do that now. They go through the farmlands outside the village into the fields and plains in the wilderness that surround it. And, that was loud. Just dropped the die. Okay, yeah, and let's see if they find any monsters on the way. No, that's easy. Now, remember, there's two entrances to the dungeon. There's the ruins on top of the hill, which have a spiral staircase leading down to it there. And then there's also the cave entrance on the hillside. So they need to decide which entrance they're going to go into. It makes sense for them to use the staircase down from the ruins. We do have 12 giant rats in a cave we know are there down here near the cave entrance. I can't remember if they saw the giant rats and sneaked past them, or if they just walked past there, choosing not to go in there because we were rolling randomly. I can't remember. So let's just give them a vote on which entrance they use. What I'll do is I'll roll a d4 for each of them. It doesn't matter who's who. And on a 1 to 2, they will go for the cave entrance, and on a 3 to 4, they'll go for the hilltop ruins entrance. Okay, so they're going for the ruins entrance then. That's sorted. And they've probably avoided a very, very nasty encounter with 12 giant rats that carry disease. Okay. So that means they're going to come down into room 4, which had two dead goblins in it, which I think they already searched. And some of their comrades have been killed in these rooms as well, and I think the bodies will have long been dragged away and eaten by goblins or, giant rats or ferrets or whatever are living down there now. So we do need to do a wandering monster roll, as I said, as the guys are walking down the stairs. Maybe they shouldn't just blunder right in there. Maybe they should send Heaver the thief to sneak down the spiral staircase and just peek and see what's down there. Okay, no monsters have moved in there. That's good. So she reports back that there's nothing. They go down here. I think their goal is to clear out this whole place of goblins. So they've been methodically searching each location in the dungeon, bit by bit. So I think they want to carry on doing that. Now they've explored these rooms here where the hobgoblin boss was, who they killed. They killed the goblin rat catchers and their ferret in room 7, but they haven't gone down here. These two doors here, I think they were had a warning painted on them or something. Room 7. The two doors to the south are barred from this side with crudely painted skulls in black paint on them. Okay, so that's that door and that door. So that's quite ominous. I think they're gonna choose one of those two doors and unbar it, and probably Heaver can take a peek through it. Now, because we've already explored these rooms and we've already searched them for traps, I said we would let them move 2 locations per turn, per 10 minutes of game time. So that lets them get from room 4 to room 7. And then should that include opening the door and looking through it, I think it will. Yeah. So which door will they choose? Let's put it to a vote again. 1 to 2 will be this one, and 3 to 4 will be this one. Both doors are exactly the same. They have a skull painted on them and they're barred. So yeah, there's really no difference here. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, it's a tie. All right, as it's a tie, Grobern suggests, look, Orsiet, cleric, why don't you just choose? And so she is going to choose instead. So it's the first door, this one. All right. So let's see. That leads to room 9. And she is going to open the door unbar it and open it a tiny crack. Now let's see. Room 9 is the devotional. A dried font for holy water and several candle niches in the walls indicate the old purpose of this room. Okay, so that uses up turn 1. There we go. Who has the torch burning? We need to know. We have lit a torch, but who is carrying it? Let's see. So Grobern is the wizard. He has his longbow out, so he needs both hands to use that. Orsiet, the cleric, she has her warhammer. She also has a sling. I think she would use the warhammer in combat, really. So she could have the torch, because Waltin has a 2-handed sword, so he can't hold it, and Heva needs to be sneaking, so she shouldn't have it. So yeah, it's going to be Orsiet, the cleric. Does she have one? She's not carrying any. Let's see. Wow, that is ridiculous. Grobern has 1 torch, and that's it. We didn't bring any other torches. That's ridiculous. I should have checked that out before we came down here. He also has a flint and steel. Okay, well, he's going to give the torch and the flint and steel to Orsiet, but yeah, we're going to have to leave when the torch burns out. But I was expecting to do quite a short session for dungeon crawling tonight because I was doing the familiar summoning anyway. So let's see. Every bloody character sheet in any RPG I've played has a really small section for equipment that they're carrying. Okay, so torch times 1, and that is 1 equipment slot, and then flint and steel. That is 1 equipment slot as well. Okay, so torch is Orsiet. Alright, so yeah, they just come into this room, they search it. There's nothing in it. There's just the dried up font for holy water and several candle niches in the walls. So yeah, it was just a little kind of temple place. I don't know what a devotional is. Must be a religious word. But yeah, they search the room. They don't find anything. And we need to do a wandering monster check because we're on the 2nd turn of the day. Nothing. Okay. Also, this says wandering monsters in areas 8 to 11 will always be 1d6 skeletons. Just to note that. So yeah, that was that turn spent searching the room. And then from room 9, they can go down south. I think that is... Oh, that's to room 10, and it's just an open corridor that leads there. What's in it? Okay, a sarcophagus is in the center of the room. If opened, a chainmail-clad zombie attacks from within. Right, the zombie was entombed with a dagger +1 embedded in his chest. A small room to the west, so he has a dagger +1 sticking out of his chest. A magic dagger. The small room to the west has a stone door sealed with wax. Okay, inside is another more ornate sarcophagus containing skeletal remains. Alright. Yeah, so that's good to know. The zombie isn't active and roaming about. That is room 10, the tomb. So the zombie is in the sarcophagus. So I forgot as well, searching an area. The skill check for a character to think of searching an area for treasure, traps and secret doors is DC 8 plus intelligence mod. When a character succeeds, everyone can then search with a further DC 8 plus intelligence check. So we could do that. We could see if they are kind of intelligent enough to think about looking inside the coffin, inside the sarcophagus, which will make the zombie pop out. So let's do that. Here we go, DC 8. So we've got 4 of them, and I'm going to roll 4 dice at the same time. And I'm going to just kind of, where the dice land will be the order of characters. I'm not going to assign them each a colour and then check it. That's just too, like, why bother doing that? This is faster. Okay, so putting them into a row like this, we'll go down the line. I can already see, some of them have passed the check anyway. So, Hiva, she's like, look, there could be some good loot in that coffin. I think Orsiet will grumble about it, saying, I didn't come in here. I came down here to kill the goblins. I didn't come here to start being a grave robber and defiling sacred tombs of our ancestors. I don't know whose tomb this is, but obviously it must be someone from our area. But I think the others would overrule her and be like, look, we can't be messing around with worrying about, disturbing the dead. They're dead. They don't need all this stuff anyway. So I think they're gonna, with all 4 of them heaving the sarcophagus open, I think they can do it. I don't think they need to make any strength checks or anything like that. So they're gonna push it open, and immediately a withered, dried up old zombie wearing chainmail sits up in the coffin, and they see an ornately decorated dagger sticking out of its chest. And so we will immediately go to determine surprise. So, rules for surprise. I think I've actually taken this from Old School Essentials. I don't think this is in Dungeon Crawl Classics. In Dungeon Crawl Classics, the judge just determines who's surprised or not based on what's just happened in the game. So if a thief sneaked down a corridor and spied on some monsters, then the players would automatically get surprise because of that, because the monsters haven't seen them. But in Old School Essentials, you both roll a d6, and if someone rolls a 1, that means they're surprised. Okay, no one is surprised. The zombie just sits up and it's looking at them. Okay, so we've got our field of battle laid out here. This time everyone is starting at 0 feet from each other because the zombie was in the sarcophagus, and it's been bust open and it's sitting right there. It's climbing out, and everyone's lined up here. We've also still got the sow and the sheep with us. I don't know why they keep bringing these 2 animals into the dungeon. They're just like their mascots now, really. Also, I was planning to draw a little picture for each of the heroes and the sow and the sheep, now that we've narrowed them down to the surviving ones. But I haven't managed to do that yet. I'll do that next time. But hopefully you like my zombie picture. He's got his eyeball hanging out, and that's supposed to be blood pouring out of his mouth as well. So just a note about undead in this. They can be turned, like in other RPGs, by Orsiet the cleric, and they can't be sneak attacked because they don't have any internal organs to be stabbed, and also they are just automatically hostile because they just have a a sort of pre-programmed hatred of life, and they want to destroy all life wherever they find it. So let's roll for initiative for everyone. We've got 4 characters and 4 d20s, which is good. Here we go. So I am just gonna roll them in a line as usual and go down the list, applying everyone's bonuses and modifiers and everything. So Hiva rolled an 8, so that means she's on 9. And we've got Waltin, Grobern, and Orsiet. So Waltin rolled a 6, that means he's on 6. Grobern rolled a 10, so he is on -1, that is a 9. And then Orsiet rolled an 8 as well, and that means she's on 8. And then the zombie, let's roll for him. He has a -4 initiative penalty because he's a really slow zombie. 19, he rolled really high. Okay, so that's 15. The zombie, the shambling slow zombie manages to get out of the sarcophagus and start attacking the party while they are just sort of stood there with their mouths open, gaping at seeing a zombie for the first time in their life. They might not even know that zombies are a thing. They might not even know that necromancers and dark magic like that exist in the world. So I suppose it makes sense. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means the initiative order is going to be the zombie first. I can't believe it. It could just kill one of them right now in one hit for all we know. Then Hiva and Grobern. Hiva's agility mod is +1 and Grobern's is -1. So we'll put Hiva before Grobern. Grobern. Then next will be Orsiet, and then Waltin will be last. Okay, this could be risky. This could be quite risky. All right, so let's use a little marker. So it's the zombie's turn. Who is he going to attack? I think. Well, shall we include the sow and the sheep in the chart, like the possible targets of the zombie, because it's not intelligent. It's not like a humanoid well, it is a humanoid, but it's not like a goblin or something that would see that everyone has weapons and will pick a easy target that is also dangerous. So let's include them as well. So just we'll go down the line and we'll roll a d6, as we've got 6 possible targets, to see who he goes for. 1, Hiva. Okay. This Chainmail Chad. Is that his name? That's the zombie's name, Chainmail Chad. I meant to say chainmail clad zombie. Sorry, it's not even funny. I've just got a really dumb sense of humour. The chainmail clad zombie attacks Hiva with its claws. Let's see what it does. It bites. Okay, so its attack is a bite +3 attack bonus, and it does 1d4 damage. Okay. So it rolls a 12, so that's a 15. Hiva's armor class is 11, so unfortunately it hits her, but it only does 1d4 damage. Luckily. Here we go. 3. Oh, that's quite a lot. Okay, so she is down to 4 hit points out of 7. So yeah, the zombie Hiva is standing there gaping, her mouth gaping wide open, looking at the zombie, and the zombie just lunges at her, bites her shoulder quite badly, takes a chunk out of it. Okay, so that's the zombie's turn over. Now it is Hiva's chance to fight back. Okay, So she has her blowgun out. That means she needs to change to her other weapon, whatever that was. She's at close range. She can't really use the blowgun. So let's see what she has. What was it? A dagger or something? Yeah, Hiva has a dagger. So I think can she use one action to change weapons and then the other action to attack? Let's see. Each round, a character or monster may move its normal speed and do one thing for each of its action dice. Oh, so movement is kind of separate from actions then. So she only has one action die. So yeah, does it have examples? Can they do, here we go, activities. Here's a list. Draw or sheath a weapon, one action, but can be included as part of a movement action. Okay, that's good to know. That really, really gives us a much better chance then. So she can put her blowgun away quickly and draw her dagger and slash at the zombie. So let's roll for that, and I will roll for her damage at the same time. Oh, she only does 1d3 plus 1. Okay. I think, yeah, let's see, where's the d3? Here. Okay, so we will roll for her attack and damage at the same time. The zombie's wearing chainmail, so its armor class is 15, quite high. Okay, so, great. Her attack bonus is +1, so she rolls a 7 and misses. I need to remember, actually, as a thief, she can burn luck to add to her rolls. So yeah, I really need to be doing that because she can burn luck points and they will regenerate at the end of the day while she's resting. So yeah, I need to remember that for next turn. Okay, so yeah, Hiva swipes at the zombie, clutching her shoulder, her wounded shoulder with one hand. She kind of does an awkward swing with her dagger and it misses completely. So now it's Grobern, the wizard. Shall we have him cast a spell? Our first spell of the game. Let's do that. Let's see what he's got. I think maybe, God, what's it called? Colour spray could be useful here. So, yeah, he's got colour spray. That's the only thing he can do at the moment, I think. So, yeah, let's find the colour spray page. This is the thing about Dungeon Crawl Classics. I don't have it even bookmarked. It does involve a lot of looking up tables in the rulebook while you're playing. Okay, colour spray. Casting time 1 action, duration instantaneous. Yeah, the caster summons forth a spray of brilliant colours that blind and dazzle the target. So, let's do the spell check. And is he going to do spellburn with this? It could be quite important that he does. And since they've only got one torch with them, they're going to need to leave the dungeon soon anyway. So maybe we could do a bit of spellburn for this as well. Okay, let's see. When he casts a spell, he rolls 1d20 and adds 2. And if we burn some points, some ability points, then he could get a bonus to that. So look, his personality is 12. I think he could go down. He could burn 2 points of his personality and make it 10. And he wouldn't gain a negative modifier for it. Not that he needs it much anyway. And that means we would get a +2 bonus to the roll. So how am I going to do this on the character sheet? It's normally 12, but it's now 10. I'm going to put a diagonal line like that and just put 10 out of 12 there. So for this spell check, that means he is going to roll 1d20 plus 4. Okay. That's rubbish. That's really bad. So he gets a 9. 2 to 11. The result is lost. Failure. Okay, the spell is lost. He can't cast it again until tomorrow, and yeah, it's just gone, and that was a total waste of time. All right. So, color spray. I need to like. All right, I need to have a place where I can note down that color spray is now lost. So I'm just going to write lost there, and then his current spell burn means that his personality is only temporarily reduced. So why don't I put like an arrow pointing to personality and write spell burn. There we go. And then those 2 points will come back 1 per day. All right, so he has cast that spell, but he can actually move now. Remember, he can move 25 feet instead of 30 feet. So he's not engaged in combat with the zombie, so he can freely move. Okay, let's move him back to range, and then he can, he doesn't have any other useful spells to cast, but at least he can shoot at the zombie with his bow. Okay, so now Orsiet. Orsiet could be really helpful here because she can turn undead as a cleric. Now let's quickly check the rules. I've just bookmarked it a minute ago. So she holds up her holy symbol and uttering holy words, she can turn the enemies of her faith. Okay, so yeah, what you do is you roll a d20, you add her caster level, and you add her personality and luck modifiers, and then consult the table. Now if you look, the zombie has 3 hit dice. So for 3 to 4 hit die creatures, any means no effect. So the spell check result, she needs to get at least 20 to be able to turn 1 3 hit die creature, which would be the zombie in this case. So she needs to get a 20. So that means, what was it? Personality, luck, and level is what's added to her roll. Let's find that. I think she's got quite a good luck score actually. So yeah, personality nothing, but luck is +3, so she will get +4 bonus to this roll. So Orsiet holds up her holy symbol. We haven't decided what it actually is yet, and she shouts, "The power of Klazath compels you," at the zombie. Let's see what happens. 13, so that is 17. Nothing happens. The zombie just, just makes a sound and ignores her. So that's Orsiet's turn done. Now Waltin, our warrior, if we remember from the leveling up session, as a warrior, he gets a D3 attack bonus, which is different every round. He also gets his mighty deed of arms by rolling his deed die, which is also a D3, and that means you just use the deed die to represent both whether the deed succeeds and also the attack bonus. So if he rolls a 3 on the deed die, then his deed succeeds and the attack hits, and he gets, if the attack hits, his deed succeeds and he gets a +3 attack bonus. This is quite complicated compared to other old school RPGs, but I think the more fights we have, the more we'll get used to it. So that means I could roll the action die, the deed die, and the damage die, in case he does any damage, which I think is a D10. Melee damage is 1D10. Oh, plus 1D3. So yeah, we'll say that's the D3 as well. We just use the same D3. Okay, so where's the D10? Here. All right, and I've had an idea just now for what he could do with his mighty deed of arms, which is a free action that he gets each round. Let's say he sees the dagger +1. He doesn't know it's a magic dagger. But he sees the dagger sticking out of the zombie's chest, and he attempts to kick it further into the zombie's chest to do more damage. Let's see what happens. If he hits the zombie, he can do that. So we will roll for that. All right, he rolls. He rolls a. Oh, look, he rolls a 10. Okay, but his attack bonus is +3 because that's a 3 on the D die. That's a 13, and unfortunately, the zombie's armor class is 15, so he misses. He does a really high kick to try and hit the dagger, and it just goes past the zombie's shoulder into thin air. And yeah, unfortunately, he misses that attack. That would have been nice. We can always try again next turn. All right, so the zombie is engaged with Hiva, attacking her. So it's just going to do another attack on her. What is Hiva's armor class? It is 11, and the zombie's attack bonus is +3. 6, 7, 8, 9. So it lunges forward at her in the exact same way it did before, doing the exact same move. So this time she's ready for it, and she just deftly steps out of the way. And now it's her chance to fight back. So she gets an attack bonus of, I've got like her blowgun's attack bonus written down there. So just check the melee attack bonus. -3. Oh no. Okay, great. And her melee damage is 1d4 -3, so she can only ever do 1 damage. This is really bad. Okay, she needs to get out of the combat. Actually, I'm gonna let her do that after this attack because she gets an action and a move. So so this is a -3 melee attack, but she can burn luck, as I said last time. So her luck is 10. Let's burn 4 points of luck. Let's just go for it because we know we're going to be leaving the dungeon quite soon to rest. So that means her luck goes down to 6. That will change her luck modifier, actually. Oops, done that wrong. So it is now 6 out of 10. Guess I should look up the modifiers list. Ability score modifiers. So it is now 6. She now has a -1 luck modifier. Okay. I hope I'm getting all these rules right. I'll probably look them up later after this session and find out I've done some things wrong, but I just want to keep the momentum up and keep going and get this fight done. So yes, so she's adding +4. Oh no, wait. This is so complicated to me. I bet there's people who play Dungeon Crawl Classics regularly watching this and thinking, why can't you handle a simple fight? But it's just because it's more complicated than I'm used to. So her melee attack was -3. Adding 4 gives her a +1 attack bonus to this attack. So let's do that. 12, so that's a 13 and not a hit on the zombie. She stabs the zombie, but it just hits the chainmail and has no effect. So now it's Grobern the wizard. He is going to shoot the zombie. If he misses, because the zombie is engaged in combat with not Orsiet yet, but Hiva and Waltin, they're both engaged in combat with it. If he misses, that means there's a 50% chance that it will hit one of them, which is unfortunate, but we just have to get this zombie killed because we haven't harmed it yet. So let's see. Grobern's attack bonus is -1 with his longbow, and his damage is 1d6 -1. Okay, so he needs a 15. 10. No, he misses. Okay, so that means that damage die will count. That was 3 damage. 1d6 -1, so it would be 2 damage if this hits someone. So a 50% chance. Let's say if it's a 3 or 4 on a d4, it's hit one of them. Oh, it has. Okay, who is it? 1 to 2, it's Heaver. 3 to 4, it's Walton. 1, it's Heaver getting hit again. Okay, so that's 2 hit points of damage to Heaver. Unfortunately, she is kind of darting around in the fight, and she steps right in front of the zombie just as Grobern releases his arrow, and the arrow thuds into her back, reducing her to 2 hit points. This is really hard combat in this Dyson's Delve dungeon, unfortunately. Okay, so that was Grobern, and he has used 1 arrow. Let's just down here, Grobern arrows. 19. Oh, I didn't even move Heaver out of the way, did I? All right, we'll have to just do that next turn. She's going to try and disengage, which means the zombie will get a free attack. Okay, so that was Grobern's turn. Now it's Orsiet's turn. So Orsiet can attempt to turn the zombie again, but she has to roll a 20, and I'm just wondering, maybe it's not worth it, because yeah, if it gets turned, it will cower in the corner of the crypt, and then we can just beat its head in until it's destroyed. But I think, she's got her Warhammer, she does 1d8 damage, let's just attack it. So her attack bonus is +0, so that means she needs to roll a 15 or more. 12. So she swings for the zombie, completely misses it, and she's now engaged in melee combat with it. This is mad. What if we just can't do it? We might have to actually flee. And what happens to the 2 animals? We may have to leave them behind so that the zombie gets distracted by them. Okay, so now it's Walton's turn. Shall we try and do that same... what did I say? I said I would try and kick the dagger into it to do more damage, but actually you can't do that in the rules. You can't ask for more damage from the attack. So I could try and pull the dagger out, and then we'd have a +1 dagger, which he could throw to Heaver, so that she would get a better attack bonus. We could do that, or we could just try and knock the zombie down. Let's see. Hang on. Okay, so there's a table, a list of example mighty deeds of arms that you can do. Trips and throws. Any attempt to knock an enemy off its feet, whether it's hooking an enemy's leg, stabbing a kneecap, knocking an opponent off balance, hurling an enemy away, sweeping an enemy's legs, or some other maneuver. These deeds allow the warrior to knock an enemy prone, limit their movement, and potentially keep him down. Okay. So if the deed die rolls a 3, which is the maximum we can roll at level 1, the warrior can knock an enemy off balance. The enemy gets a reflex save against the warrior's attack roll. Failure means the enemy is knocked prone and must spend its next attack action standing up. Okay, so that would give us all a chance to flee, because look, it's got 14 hit points, this zombie, and we don't seem to be able to do anything to it. It's just so hard to hit it because of its chainmail. So I think we could try and get away. So melee attacks against a prone opponent receive a +2 bonus. So if we could knock it down, right, then everyone could attack it and then run. So everyone would get a free attack against it and then run with a +2 bonus. So we might even be able to kill it. Who knows? So let's try that. We will say that Walton, with his massive 2-handed sword, he attempts to sweep the zombie's legs with the sword, hoping to cut them off. He's not going to be able to, because at level 1 he can't do that. But he can definitely cut the legs out from under him and drop him to the floor if he's successful. So we will have our action die, our deed die, and damage die, and roll them all together. And if this doesn't work, he's going to disengage with the zombie, run over to Grobern, and they're all gonna leave, and I think the two animals are gonna be left so that the zombie will attack them once we've disengaged with it. Okay, here we go. So let's see, we don't know his attack bonus yet. Let's roll. The deed die has failed. Okay, so his attack bonus was +2. He's rolled a 16. So he has hit the zombie, and he's done, hang on, what damage does he do? 1d10 plus the d3. Okay, so he's done 6 damage to it. That is quite a lot. So he sweeps its legs and slashes them really badly, both of them. But the zombie wobbles a bit and stays on its feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's got 8 hit points left then. Okay, and then with his movement action, he is going to attempt to disengage from the zombie and run over there. Although the zombie is actually engaged with Heaver, only Heaver. It's not kind of, it doesn't get 3 attacks per round and is attacking all of them at the same time. So Waltin can actually just run back to where Grobern is, which we will say is where they came in. So it's around this corridor bit here. And he says, everyone fall back, let's just get out of here. We'll bar the door against it. Because remember, this door has a bar that they lifted, so they can lock the zombie in and escape. Okay, so that was Waltin. But now, unfortunately, the zombie isn't knocked down and it gets to attack Heaver. Heaver is only on 2 hit points. I really hope she doesn't get killed in the first fight at level 1. So the zombie's attack bonus is +3 and Heaver's armor class is 11. 3! Okay, it rolls a 6. It gets a 6 and misses. So it does the same thing as it did before, and she neatly steps out the way again. Okay, so now it's Heaver's turn. Yeah, she can attempt to disengage and run over here for her movement action, and then she needs to switch back to her blowgun, which is her ranged weapon, so she won't be able to attack this round anyway. But yeah, we will say she attempts to run, so that means the zombie gets a free attack against her. So it's the same thing again. It rolls a 4, so it gets a 7. And it just does the same thing, lunges at her, can't bite her, and she escapes back over here. That's the end of her turn. So then Grobern, he's already here with the others. He may as well just shoot the zombie again, and this time there's no one oh no, did Orsiet did attack it, didn't she? So he does have a risk of hitting Orsiet if he misses the zombie. So yeah, Grobern's attack bonus is -1 and his damage is 1d6 -1. Okay, that's bad. So he gets an 8 and misses. And so let's see, on a roll of 3 to 4, he is going to hit Orsiet. No. The arrow flies through the air and clatters off the back wall of the tomb. So yeah, he's already over here, he doesn't need to run. And then it's Orsiet's turn. So yeah, she's just going to attack again, not attempt to turn it because it's too hard. With 3 hit dice seems like a lot for a zombie. They're normally 2 hit dice in the games I've played. Anyway, her damage is 1d8. And so she needs to roll a 15 to hit. 15 exactly, she hits. And she does 7 damage. So, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is a massive hit. She brings the warhammer down on the zombie's head, and there's a cracking sound as it meets the zombie's skull, but it's not enough to completely brain the zombie and destroy it once and for all. Now she needs to try and run back to the others. It only has 1 hit point left, but we're in such bad shape with Hiva having only 2 hit points. We really need to get out of here. Orsiet is going to attempt to disengage. So the zombie gets a free attack against her with a +3 attack bonus, and her armor class is 14. Oh, it's hit. Okay. And what is its damage? It does 1d4 damage. So it can't actually do a lot of damage, but at level 1 we're very squishy characters. Apart from Orsiet, who has 9 hit points. So let's see its damage. 1 damage. That's not too bad. 8. Okay, so yeah, the zombie manages to bite her arm as she's turning to run, and then she gets over here. So it's now Walton's turn again. Well, why don't we, before we all just flee out of the room, why don't we have Walton switch to his... Does he have a ranged weapon? Has he got a sling or something? Maybe he doesn't have a ranged weapon, so he won't be able to do anything. No, he's only got his 2-handed sword. He doesn't have anything on him that he can throw. Okay. That's a shame. Yeah, alright. So we are just going to flee. Which means, where do they go? So they can move 30 feet per turn. So if he has now fled to here, then he can go 10, 20, 30. He can get up to there. The zombie can only move 20 feet. So it's not going to be able to catch up with any of them. Meaning, it can't even... Oh, no, they're 20 feet away. So it can close the distance in the next round. All right. So, all right, in that case, yeah, Walton has escaped and he is now out of the combat. But it's the zombie's turn next, and it will get to attack someone. It is closest to the 2 animals, unfortunately, the sow and the sheep. So let's say it has like a 75% chance of just, no, let's just rule that it does go for the nearest enemy, because it's not intelligent at all. It just sees something alive and tries to kill it. So it turns to the animals. Which one is it going to attack? I don't know why I'm even doing this. I think it's going to automatically, well, should it automatically hit against a pig or a sheep? Let's roll to see which one it attacks first. The sow is a 1 to 2. Okay, so it attacks the sow. What is the sow's armor class? 10 is the armor class of an unarmored person, and a person can, attempt to dodge. But this pig is like, I don't know. It would probably be scared of the zombie. Let's say its armor class is like 8. So the sow and the sheep. Armor class will be 8 for both of them, and we'll roll like a D3 for their hit points. So the sow gets 1 hit point, and the sheep gets 3 hit points. It's a tough bit of mutton. Okay, so it's gonna attack, and it gets a +3 bonus. So that means it needs to roll a 5 or more to hit the sow. It's rolled a 16. It hits the sow. The sow has 1 hit point, so it's automatically killed it. Okay, yeah, it just sees the pig. The pig is turning to look at the adventurers, and unfortunately, it's not fast enough to get away from the zombie. The zombie grabs hold of it and bites into its neck and tears a big chunk of pork out of it, and starts chewing it. And the sow just drops down in a heap of blood. The sheep, I guess, is panicking. We'll say that the sheep will probably charge after the adventurers and come with them, but unfortunately the sow is out of the game. So I'm surprised she survived for quite a while. Okay, so that means we have now all got at least 20 feet away from the zombie, and it's the end of the zombie's turn. We can all now move past this doorway and get out and bar the door behind us. Okay. So that uses up the end of that turn, which was that one, I think, the second turn. And yeah, they can attempt to leave the dungeon now. So let's just double check that they can get out of here without being, attacked by wandering monsters. So they're not up there, they are now like there. So they can get out through there. They can, in one turn, they can go to, through location 4. This is part of location 4, and get out. And then on the way back to the village, are they going to encounter any monsters? Because if they are, that could be a game changer for us. Oh, we have got a wandering monster encounter in the wilderness on the way back to the village. Bad luck for them. Okay, so I think we're going to end on that cliffhanger there, because this has been quite a long episode now, longer than I thought it would go on for. I thought the zombie would be quite easy to kill. It is down to 1 hit point, which is great, and I am not going to allow it to heal, because how could it heal? It's just an undead creature. It can't bandage itself up. It is eating the dead sow, but I'm going to say, as it's undead, it has no way of healing itself. It's just basically a machine that moves forward attacking things until it gets killed. So we're going to end it on that cliffhanger. Remember, we've got the garrulous, talkative, slow turtle familiar of Grobern the wizard, who needs a name for next time. So please leave suggested names in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Have a really great day or evening, whatever it is for you, and see you then.